Someone in the crowd said to him, "Teacher, tell my brother to divide the family inheritance with me." But he said to him, "Friend, who set me to be a judge or arbitrator over you?" And he said to them, "Take care, be on your guard against all kinds of greed, for one's life does not consist in the abundance of possessions." Then he told them a parable. The land of a rich man produced abundantly, and he thought to himself, "What should I do? For I have no place to store my crops." Then he said, "I will do this. I will pull down my barns and build larger ones, and there I will store all my grain and my goods. And I will say to my soul, 'Soul, you have ample goods laid up for many years. Relax, eat, drink, be merry.' But God said to him, 'You fool, this very night your life is being demanded of you. And the things you have prepared, whose will they be?' So it is with those who store up treasures for themselves, but are not rich toward God." The author is a Luke exclusive, with similar scenarios found in Sirach, Ecclesiastes, and Job, written sometime between 80 and 90 AD to an audience of Gentile-Christians, also known as the God-fearers. The narrative context. Jesus is interrupted from talking about matters of hypocrisy and salvation to be asked to arbitrate in a family dispute over an inheritance. Following this parable, Jesus instructs the disciples to sell their possessions and give alms, and then provides a few warnings on eschatology, specifically how judgment will come when you least expect it. The key terms. Note the frequent use of the fool's use of I and my to demonstrate his egotistical concerns. The historical context. Rabbis were often asked to arbitrate in family disputes. Jewish custom states the older son in a family of two received 2/3 of the father's possessions. It is likely that the man who questions Jesus is the younger brother who has yet to receive any of the father's inheritance from his older brother. The stereotype of the rich man as greedy reflects the ancient notion of limited good. The pie is finite, is already fully distributed, and cannot be expanded. Therefore, if anyone's share got larger, someone else's automatically got smaller. An honorable man would thus be interested only in what was rightfully his. He would not want more. Anyone with a surplus would normally feel shame unless he gave liberally to the community. By keeping everything to himself and refusing to act as a generous person, the rich man in the parable reveals himself as a dishonorable fool. The message. Salvation is not based on an accumulation of riches. Later in this chapter, Jesus reminds his disciples, "For where your treasure is, there your heart will be also." The parable illustrates the fate of a rich man who would have been the envy of most people, but in the midst of his good fortune lost sight of what was really important, which we learn by the chapter's end is loving God and loving neighbor. All parables have a shock value, and this one would have been that Luke chapter 12 begins with finger pointing at the hypocrisy of the Pharisees and their view of salvation, but by the end of the chapter, the audience is forced to look inside themselves to evaluate whether they place matters of greed over matters of the heart. It was commonly believed per the Jewish purity system that earthly riches reflected heavenly rewards. The rich man, it was assumed among his contemporaries, would have had salvation in the bag. Yet we learn by the parable's end that it's not the accumulation of wealth that matters in God's eyes, but how you use it.